Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 7 of PPI 4's Critical Reading class. And in this video, we are going to present the material of Part 3, Comprehension Skills, Unit 4, Patterns of Organization, and Unit 5, Reading Longer Passages Effectively. My name is Siti Nur Adinda, and I will be the first presenter. So now, without further ado, let's start the material. Unit 4, Patterns of Organization. Patterns of organization is how the information is organized in writing. Recognizing the pattern of organization is an important part of reading comprehension, since writers do use patterns of organization to present their ideas in a way that makes sense. Once we recognize the pattern, we will understand and follow the writer's ideas of writing more efficiently. In this unit, we will learn to identify 6 common patterns that are often found in paragraphs in English. First, listing. In the listing pattern, the writer states the main idea in the form of a generalization or general statement and gives a list of details or examples to support the general statement. The keywords or phrases in the main idea that are often found in listing pattern are many, several, a number of, a variety of, a few, and kinds of, while the signal words or phrases are, for example, first, second, another, also, in addition, final, most important. So now let's take a look at the example. I will read the paragraph, and then we will try to find the topic, main idea, keyword in the main idea, and then the signal words or phrases and the supporting facts and ideas. There are several different theories about the origin of the moon. One theory, called the fission theory, states that early in the life of Earth, a piece broke off, and that piece became the moon. A second, closely related theory is that the moon is composed of several pieces of Earth that broke away from our planet. Yet another theory is that the moon formed elsewhere in the solar system and was captured by Earth's gravity. The final theory states that a huge piece of planetary rock struck Earth and broke up into pieces. One of the pieces became the moon. Can you find the main idea in the paragraph? It will be easier to find the main idea if you remember the keywords or phrases that are often found in the listing patterns, which are many, several, a number of, a variety of, a few, and kinds of. So can you find the main idea? Yes, it is on the first sentence. The keywords is several. And so the main idea is there are several different theories about the origin of the moon. So the topic is theories about the origin of the moon. And then the signal words or phrases we can find in the supporting facts and ideas are one theory, a second, yet another, and then the final. Next, second, sequence. In the sequence pattern, the writer explains the main idea with a series of events or steps in a process that follow one after the other in time order. The keywords or phrases in the main idea that are often found in sequence patterns are begin, account, story, process, history, and sequence, while the signal words or phrases are first, second, then, next, finally, in 1965, last June, last month, over time, the next step, and the following week. So now let's take a look at the example. I will read the paragraph and then we will try to find the topic, main idea, keyword in the main idea, and then signal words or phrases in the supporting facts and ideas. Not all stars are the same age, so it is possible to see stars at every stage of their life cycle. From their observations, astrophysicists can explain the process of the formation of a star. A star begins life inside a nebula, a huge cloud of gas and dust in outer space. Over time, the force of gravity pulls some of the gas and dust together to form into clumps. Then the temperature inside the nebula begins to rise. Next, several clumps come together and become denser and hotter, and they form a protostar, an early form of a star. After that, the protostar continues to grow until it has become about as large as our Sun. At that point, nuclear reactions begin to occur in its core, or center, and these reactions send energy to the surface of the protostar. Finally, the energy escapes as heat and light, and a new star begins to shine. Can you find the main idea in the paragraph? Remember, the keywords are begin, account, story, process, history, and sequence. The main idea is, from their observations, astrophysicists can explain the process of the formation of a star. The keywords is process. Thus, the topic is the process of the formation of a star. And then, the signal words or phrases in the supporting facts and ideas are begins, over time, then, next, after that, at that point, and finally. Third, comparison or contrast. In the comparison or contrast pattern, the writer's main idea is a general statement about two things and how they are similar and or different. A comparison can include both similarities and differences, or only the similarities, while a contrast states only differences. So, a comparison can be a contrast, but a contrast can't be a comparison. The keywords or phrases in the main idea are similarities, differences, both, in common, same, different, compare, and comparison. Signal words or phrases for similarities are similarly, also, in the same way, as, like, both, in common. While the signal words or phrases for differences are however, but, on the other hand, although, while, in contrast, then, conversely, yet, and unlike. So now let's take a look at the example. I will read the paragraph and then we will try to find the topic, main idea, keywords in the main idea, and signal words or phrases in the supporting facts or ideas. Astronomy and astrology are similar in some ways, but they differ in a very important way. In both fields, the experts study planetary motion and constellations, or groups of stars, and they use telescopes, tables, and charts to do their work. However, astronomers study the heavenly bodies as a science, and over the years, people have used astronomy to discover more about the universe. Astrologers, on the other hand, use their knowledge of the heavenly bodies to advise people about their life situations. This is not science, but a belief that what happens in our life is affected by the positions of the moon, sun, and planets. So, can you find the keywords? Yes, the keywords is similar and differ. Thus, the main idea is on the first sentence. Astronomy and astrology are similar in some ways, but they differ in a very important way. This means the paragraph is a comparison instead of contrast. And then the topic is astronomy and astrology. And then the supporting facts or ideas, the signal words or phrases for the supporting facts and ideas are both, however, and on the other hand. Thank you so much. Sorry for any mistakes.
Okay, I'm Tasya Rahma Annisa, and now we'll continue the presentations of Sister Dinda, and I would tell about cause/effect, the second problem/solutions, and extended definition. Cause/effect. In this pattern, the writer's main idea is that one event or action causes another event or action. Keywords or phrases in the main idea and the signal word for details are the same and often include causes, leads to, is the cause of, result in, creates, brings about, makes, prefers, produce, gives rise to, contributes to, is due to, is the result of, comes from, result from, is produced by, is a consequence of, follow, is caused by. And I will give the example that is in 23, two robotic rovers landed on Mars and began sending back data about the possible extents of water on the red planet. This close examination of Mars was the result of new and improved technology. The color is red in here is the main idea. And because of advances in telecommunication systems, scientists on Earth can send commands faster and receive data in greater amounts. New software in the rovers led to their increased ability to make independent decisions and avoid dangers and hazards on their own. In this big sentence is the cause. New and improved technology. And the next is a result. As a result of new technologies for safe environments, the rovers and their interior computers were able to survive the extreme cold and hot conditions in space on Mars. And due to their new improved wheels, the twin rovers could move around the rocky Martian landscape with ease. This one, the color green, is the effect. Close examinations of Mars. And for the next is problem/solutions. The paragraph always consists of two parts. The first, a statement, and the second, a descriptions and explanations of how it was solved. There are often no signal word for the detail. Keywords or phrases in the main idea, situations, trouble, crisis, dilemma, or issue. In the body of the paragraph, keywords include solve, solution, resolve. For example, beginning in the 1600s, atmosphere had realized that their telescope had serious limit. In this sentence, in this brown sentence, that is explain about main idea. Telescope were limit, but the new Hubble telescope has solved the problem. And the next one is the astronomers were able to view objects only when the objects were in view of Earth. At the same time, however, Earth-like an atmosphere made it difficult to see many heavenly objects. The red color is telling about the problem. The problems is about telescope could view objects only when they were in view of Earth. The next is extended definition. In this pattern, the writer names a concept or completed process at the paragraph will define and explain. Usually, the main idea or first sentence of the paragraph states a dictionary definitions of the concept or process, followed by a descriptions and slides or an explanations. There are usually no signal word for the details. Keywords or phrases in the main idea consist of is, seems to be, are. Okay, for example, a solar eclipse is an astronomical event during which the moon seems to cover the sun. It's one, the red colored sentence is talk about main idea. When the moon passes between the earth and the sun, all of part of the sun's light is blotted out. The moon, in fact, is much smaller than the sun, but it's also a great deal closer to the earth. As a result, both the sun and the moon seem to be about the same size to us. The color purple is explanations. During a total eclipse, the sun the moon, and the earth are all in a straight line, and the moon completely hides the sun from view. A partial eclipse occurs when the three bodies are not exactly in a straight line. In an annular solar eclipse, the sun is visible as a bright ring around the moon because the moon is farthest from the earth. This one, the color green, is explained about descriptions. And the next presentation is Lestiana.
Okay, I'm Siti Lestiana from group 7. So right now I will continue the materials. There is part 3 unit 5 about reading longer passages effectively. Like the paragraph, longer passage focuses on a single topic, expresses a general idea about that topic, follows a pattern of organization, and uses signal words and phrases to indicate supporting ideas. So what we gonna learn about these materials, there is about the topic, the thesis statement, and identifying the thesis statement. For the first is about the topic. The topic of a longer passage is usually repeated many times to focus the reader's attention and to reinforce connections between the topic and the supporting ideas. It is generally mentioned in the first is the title, the second is the topic sentence of each paragraph, and the last is at least one other sentence in each paragraph. So the second is about the thesis statement. In a longer passage, the writer's idea about the topic is stated in a sentence called the thesis statement. Like the main idea in a paragraph, the thesis statement tells the writer's overall idea about the topic. Recognizing and understanding the writer's thesis statement is the key to understanding the ideas in passage. And the last is about identifying the thesis statement. So how can we identifying the thesis statement? There are some ways to identifying the thesis statement. And the thesis statement in English includes the topic, and then is usually found in the first paragraph, and the thesis statement is always a complete sentence and also often indicates how the ideas will be developed in the passage. And the last, the thesis statement is supported by the ideas and information found in all of the paragraphs of the passage. In English, the thesis statement is near the beginning of a passage because readers expect to learn right away what the passage is about. In other languages and cultures, this is not necessarily true. Okay, for note, the thesis statement will help you determine the overall pattern of organization of the whole passage and what kind of supporting points to look for. In each of the paragraphs after the thesis statement, the main idea supports the thesis statement and often includes a signal word for the overall pattern of the passage. So there is an example passage on critical reading books on pages 155 until 156. So the topic of the passage is about cell phones. And then the thesis statement, it could also be argued that cell phones, have had a significant impact on how we communicate and on social relations in general. So, pattern of organization, the passage use is cause and effect. And then there are supporting points or main ideas in the paragraph 2. There is the fact that cell phones allow us to stay in touch at all times has clearly had an impact on the way we work. And then in paragraph 3, in daily life, cell phones have also brought about some changes in our habits. And then the last is in paragraph 4. Furthermore, apart from the users, cell phones can also have an impact on others who happen to be nearby. So, there is a note for all of us. Some paragraphs in a longer passage may have a pattern that is different from the overall pattern of the passage, in which case the paragraphs will include signal words for the different pattern. In long, complex passages, different readers may interpret the thesis statement in slightly different ways. This can lead to their finding different overall patterns, especially when the writer does not use many obvious signal words. Thus, in some of the following exercises, there may be more than one possible answer about the pattern. So, I have finished my presenting the materials about reading longer passages effectively. Thank you very much for your attention and for the participation in the discussion. Please forgive me and my friends for some weaknesses in our presentation. I hope our presentation can be beneficial for all of us. Let me end this presentation session by saying wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.